Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Que-stead-Que. What you gonna do? I don't know, but something's gonna grow. You guys, I had filmed the whole film and was about to upload it and realized I had forgot to say some things. So I said, well, let me just go on and reshoot the film, and I can shorten it because that last one was over 30 minutes. So I know that you all would appreciate if I kept it shorter and sweeter. Okay, because I was rambling. I did a big vent, and I'm going to do that immediately. I'm still doing that vent. But right now I'm cutting greens. Let's start with the vent. I've been seeing all these videos on TikTok, which I thought were stupid, because what happened was a lot of people were on there talking about, if they cut my food stamps, I'm gonna just take the stuff. I'm like, so you done plastered your homemade face online for the world to see, talking about how you're gonna steal, when you should have been preparing. Shoot, you the one getting $1,000 a month because you got 1,000 kids, okay? But then you gonna sit there and say that? Okay, so anyway, they carried out their threat, y'all. No, it's not funny. Let me stop laughing. I'm sitting up here trying to joke to keep from crying, okay? I had told Sherry yesterday, I said, Sherry, get to the store. I was like, while you out there ripping and running and doing all this other stuff, get to the store and get stocked up now. Sherry, why should I? I was like, haven't you seen those videos? Yeah. I'm like, okay. I was like, if that starts happening, I said, then there's not going to be any food left to buy. And so she was like, yeah, I guess I need to. I was like, yeah, I guess you need to too. So anyway, so yes, I saw a video today where in Milwaukee, they raided a Walmart and everybody started taking everything in the store and then running out. So it was like a flash mob. So you know that's going to pick up steam. I hope that Trump send every National Guard member there is to any city that people decide to do that in. Not thinking of themselves, not thinking of the elderly, the other children, people who actually buy their food, and everything. And they're sitting up there doing that, just taking it. Oh. When I say fatigued, yes, I am fatigued. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. It doesn't make any sense. And then what are they going to do when everything has been taken? Because they're certainly not going to get out and start a garden. They're certainly not going to grow anything. What are they going to do? Try to rob the farmers? And I hope every one of them stores close their doors. When you control the food, you control the people. And they're going to be the first to find out what that means, okay? Because they're first. They're going to be out in the field. They're going to make them do the planting and the harvesting. Then they're going to find out what the hard work entails, and they will appreciate what they're getting for free right now. And yes, I'm in with my EBT that just got cut by half, and eventually it will be cut altogether. But the point is, I've paid taxes and I've worked for a number of years. I've retired. So what I get because of my disability and my age, I feel I deserve. It will never replace what I have put into it with my tax dollars. That's number one. And number two, what am I doing? And what are you guys doing? We are out there trying to grow our own. We are prepping. We are just doing what it takes, what everybody should be doing. And these people who are doing the stealing refuse to do any of that. And so we should not have to suffer as a result of them. Well, we won't. Those of us who prep. But for those who aren't able to prep and still may not be receiving any type of assistance, it's not fair to them at all. It's just terrible. Okay, vent's over because I don't want this to go into an hour, okay, this video. It's been kind of busy the past few days. Yesterday, I had to do some errands, and then today I had to get up. Well, first of all, for the farmer's market, I set my alarm for 7 this morning, and I was able to get up. I went to bed very early last night, and I laid there for a minute, but then by midnight, I was sleepy, and I went on to sleep. So I set my alarm for 7 this morning, and I got up, and today was trick-or-treat day at the farmer's market. So they were going to be peppered with kids. So I was like, I don't want to be there or be anywhere near once they arrive. So I got there early, and I got in and I got out. And so I'm now loaded with chips. My bag is full. I really don't need to go back, but I will make one more trip next Saturday. I'm not going to go Tuesday and Thursday like I have been doing. And I could do that and get the double up. So I could get that extra $40. But to tell you the truth, number one, I am loaded. And with my freezers are stocked, I'm loaded. It's really nothing else I need but one item that I plan to get, and that'll be next Saturday because the Birch man won't be back until then. But so I'll probably skip Tuesday and Thursday and just do it on Saturday. I'll get the double up on Saturday, and then get what I'm gonna get with the double up chips, which will be because the Birch man, he brought in a lot of new starts today. He had all the cold crops. And he had your butternuts, I almost said butternut squash. He had your butter crunch lettuce, and it looked healthy just like yours. And I was like, I can do that because I have extra soil in the greenhouse that I could bring in. Or actually, I don't even have to bring it in. I could fill up the pot right out there in the greenhouse right after, I go and do that. I can go in the greenhouse, fill up the pot, 1 or 2 pots, and then plant the butter crunch lettuce. And yeah, I guess I could leave it out if I wanted to, but I'm gonna just bring it in and just grow it over the winter. It's some beautiful stuff. He had spinach. What else? He had kale, which I don't like. He had just all the cold crops, but I'm gonna get that lettuce. He had the red leaf. He had like three different varieties of lettuce. And so I think, because I can use the chips to get those starts. So, and he was selling the starts for, I think, $2. So I said I can get about 3 starts. I'll get the butter crunch, I'll get the red leaf, and that'll help me over the winter. And then I think I might get a couple of more tomatoes that he has because they looked really good. And I can dice those tomatoes up because y'all know I don't can. And I can freeze them. I can freeze those tomatoes. And then anytime I want a salad, I could do the same with cucumbers. I've frozen cucumbers many a time and no problem. They're just as fresh afterwards. So I can get some tomatoes, cucumbers, and have my own lettuce to grow. I already have arugula. And then that way, anytime I want a salad during the winter, my ingredients are right there and it's fresh. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Anything I go to the grocery store for this winter, I already know. It's just going to be for bread, milk, and as quiet as it's kept. If I wanted to learn how to make my own bread, I could do that. But it'll be for bread, milk, and meats. And I have meats in the freezer. I've stocked up on meats. I have fish and all that. So technically, I only have to get meats. But if there's a sale or something like that, I may do that. But veggies, I don't need a vegetable this winter. I've got everything I possibly need in that freezer. Okay? And I have a lot of it. That's going to last beyond the winter. I've got the peppers. I've got onions. I've got garlic. Everything. And what I forgot to mention, and if you see in the thumbnail, you see some potatoes. When I went to the farmer's market on Thursday, remember I kept saying I may get some more potatoes, I may get some more potatoes. So I went over there and inquired because I was looking for cabbage because that's what JD had wanted. And they didn't have the cabbage. They had either, they had sold out, I think, on Tuesday or Saturday, and they said they still needed to harvest some more. They said we have it, but we don't have any here. So I was like, okay, I'm thinking about getting some more potatoes. In fact, I decided to get some. I was like, go on and give me the 10-pound bag. So the 10-pound bag there, and they're a lot higher than Royal Oaks, because the 10-pound bag at Royal Oak cost me, I think, $12, but the 10-pound bag there cost $15. So I was like, well, since they planted like the Kennebec, these were some nice white potatoes. And I like them because I had bought a bag. And so I said, give me a bag of the potatoes, and I was like, and that's it. And so I was like, I'm curious, how much do y'all sell the 50-pound bag for? Because I saw 2 50-pound bags there. And he said, this one right here, he pointed to the one with the white potatoes in it. He was like, that one would run, was it $30? No, $35. He was like, this one would run you $35. He said, but this one right here is he said, these are the imperfect potatoes. I was like, what's that? I was like defects or whatever. And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, they're grade B. He's like, these are the ones that you wouldn't want to sell for the, what they call them, irregulars or whatever. Some of the potatoes have a nose. A lot of the potatoes are 2 potatoes, but they conjoined, like conjoined twins. So it looks like a snowman. A lot of those are in the bag. But anyway, he said, it's 50 pounds. He was like, but that's $15 too. I was like, give me that 50-pound bag. So I told JD, bring a bag. I said, because I know it's too many for me, but it was no way I was going to turn down 50 pounds versus buying 20 pounds of the perfect potatoes. And these are mixed. So it's the New Orleans, the red potatoes. They're pronounced Norlands. It sounds like I'm saying New Orleans, but it's Norlands, or Norlands rather. And then it had the Kennebec, and what's the other variety? It's a white potato, but I think it's something that's a gold potato. So it's a mixture. And like I said, most of them are basically 2 potatoes in one. They're conjoined potatoes, but the rest of them, with the exception of some of them having like an extra, you call it a potato with a nose. It has the extra tuber sticking out of it and all that. That's it. And 50 pounds. So I told JD, bring a bag tomorrow. I was like, you can take you a bag home. I was like, and I'll give some to Sherry, and then I'll take the rest because to fill my bins. And they will keep for me. And what doesn't keep, because Sherry's like, well, what if they go bad? I was like, they're not going to go bad in that container. I was like, if anything, before they would go bad, they're going to sprout. I said, and if they sprout, they're going into a paper bag, and they will be, or at the bottom of my containers, because both my containers have a bottom thing for onions. So I was like, they'll go at the bottom, and those sprouts can grow, and guess what? They will be planted next spring, because I am going to replant that potato bed again. So, but I might just have to dig it deeper, that's all. Because my potatoes, they came out pretty good. They weren't the best, but they came out okay. I have some normal size potatoes. Most of them were normal size, and then a few of the small ones. So I'm not complaining. What I did, that muriate of potash and other amendments that I used, did work. But I knew I didn't dig into the ground deeper. So that's my plan. But I'm happy to have been blessed with that bag of potatoes. Now, that would have done somebody with some children some good, okay? I remember when I was younger, my father, every year, he would buy a 50-pound bag of potatoes for the winter. And they lasted us. And then he and my mother would go to Detroit to some market, and they would buy a side of beef. And the butcher would cut it. We had steaks, you name it. Whatever meat come from that cow, we had. Every year they stocked that fridge or that freezer with that. We had a deep freezer. And that's how we ate during the winter. And we weren't as poor as I am now. You know, my father worked and my mother did too. But the point is, they were trying to save and whatnot. And a lot of the things I do now is because of my mother. My mother, she was a prepper and didn't even know it. My mother would always, we'd be like, Mom, we would go to her house and shop. Because she always had duplicates. She had all these canned goods. She just didn't have them organized. That's the only thing. And we like, why you got all this stuff? And we would go in there and shop. We'd take our little bags over there and come out with all kind of stuff. And my mother was like, because if something happened, I have it. She wouldn't do nothing but prepping. Yep. And so anyway, so yeah, so JD's coming tomorrow. So I'll have dinner ready when he gets here. He'll be going to get the bait once he arrives, and then we'll eat, and then we'll get ready to get up super early on Monday to go fishing. So I'm fishing for Sherry this go round, and so I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is sit and have fun fishing. And hopefully it's supposed to be a little windy on Monday, but we have so many spots there at Harson's Island and all those cattails, we can get to a spot. So we're not going to be at our regular spot unless it's just not windy there. When we arrive, we're going to go to the spot that has the least wind or no wind at all. So it could be anywhere on that island. We even talked about going to the North Channel because we fish in the South Channel. We even talked about going to the North Channel to see what's going on over there. We usually don't go over there. We've been over there before, and we have fished over there, and we've caught fish over there. But we prefer the South Channel because it's more open, and the channels are a little bit wider on the South Channel than they are on the North. But hey, we're gonna do what we have to do on Monday. So JD's finishing up his winter stock on Monday. He said all he needs is just a few more, and then I'm getting winter stock for Sherry. Because I'm done, okay? I can't get another, I don't need another fish, all right? So right now I'm cutting up these greens because that's for tomorrow's dinner, and then some of them will go in the freezer. I found them for $1.49. There's so many of them, so I'm gonna put two bagfuls, and then I'll cook the rest for JD and I, and then I'm making fried cornbread, smothered potatoes, and we're having chicken wings for dinner. I found some real cheap. JD brought the chicken wings and bought them the last go round. So this time I got them because I told him I want to get started early so that when you arrive, dinner will be ready. Okay. I don't want to have to cook after he gets here because he's just now bringing the chicken and he might not show up till 6 o'clock. The last time he came at like 4 or 5. And so I had to cook, and then, it was 2 hours before we ate and everything. And so this time I can season the chicken tonight. I'm going to cook the greens today. As soon as I get done here, I have to wash them because I feel a little grit on them. So I'm going to get them washed real good and then get my smoked meat on and the greens are going to just simmer all day until 2 hours before I go to bed. I want them nice and tender, okay? So, and I'm putting peppers in them, some of my pepper flakes and whatnot. Because the last batch I cooked were good, and that chicken I cooked 2 weeks ago was very good. So we're repeating the same dinner. And then, like I said, the fried cornbread and smothered potatoes. Now, the other thing I got at the farmer's market, and that was it. Y'all, bing! Now, take a look at the bottom of this pepper. You have male and you have female. The male have 4 nubs at the bottom. The female have 3. Female bell peppers are sweeter. I learned this from the video that I watched that showed how to make paprika. I said, the dehydrator is still out. I didn't get the herbs. So I said, before I put that dehydrator away, let me go on, and I bought 3 red female bell peppers for $1. That's all it costs. 1 chip. And then with paprika, the lady on the recipe used chilies because she likes hers spicy. I said, I don't want mine as spicy, but I do want to add just a wee bit of spice to it. And so the lady didn't have chilies, which I was kind of glad she didn't, but the pepper lady had serrano peppers. And so she said, these are mildly hot. She said they do have a kick, but they're not super hot on the Scolian scale. She said, so this will work well with your paprika. And so I was like, pick me out 4. So these are the 4 she picked. And I paid 1 chip for these 4. She sold me the 4 for $1. And so I'm not going to use all the peppers. I'm going to save. I'm going to dehydrate them as well as the red peppers. And I'm going to save. I'm only going to use a smidgen of these hotter peppers. And then the rest of the flakes I will put in a jar and preserve them so that when I make my next batch of paprika, I will still have some of my serrano peppers. So I'm getting ready to get these cut up. First of all, I have to do dishes, wash the greens, get the smoked meats on, and then get the greens on, and then I will do the peppers. And so since it's only 3 bell peppers, oh, and she even showed a way. I was sitting up there slicing downward, pulling seeds, taking me an hour or more just to deseed my peppers. You know what she did? She sliced her peppers sideways, and y'all probably do that. Y'all probably thinking, you didn't do that? Nope. I'm slicing this way and then pulling out the seed ball and then having to clean the seeds out the pepper. No, she sliced it. And yes, the seeds were there, but she was able to easily just tap it and the seeds fell right out. And then her seed ball was still intact at the top because she cut from the bottom. So she wasn't even hitting seeds until she got to maybe the last 2 cuts. And then she pulled the seed ball out and then knocked the seeds off maybe her last 2 slices. She had that mess done in 2 minutes, okay? If that. Now I'm talking all her peppers, and she did more than what I'm doing. Okay, she had more peppers. She made a bigger thing of paprika than what I'm making. I'm just making enough to fill a little, container or a little jar because I won't be using it that often. Only when I want something where I might want just a wee bit of spice in it or meat, that would be a good thing, to season some meat that I'm baking, something like that. But so I won't be using it that often. But when I saw her easy recipe, and she dehydrated her stuff in the oven, so it took her 45 minutes to dehydrate her peppers. She cooked it on 400, and then she left the oven open so that I forget. It was a reason why she did that technique. I ain't doing all that. My peppers can go right on that dehydrator. Those 3 peppers will probably fill 3 tiers because she left hers in slices when she did hers. If I slice mine thin enough, I can do that. I don't have to do them in the long slice or whatever. I'll just slice them real thin and then put them on the dehydrator, and that's it. And then the other ones, I'll slice those the same way, real thin. And they'll be done by tomorrow evening, and then I'll make up my paprika probably on Tuesday because we'll be fishing Monday. But if I get those peppers on tonight, I might be able to make that paprika up tomorrow while the chicken's cooking. It's not going to take but a minute. That is if the peppers are dry. So I'm going to run them all night tonight and see where I'm at in the morning. And if they're dry, then I can go on and get them processed and have my paprika done and get my stuff washed up and put away. Otherwise, it'll be Tuesday because we'll be fishing Monday. So... or it may be, Sunday. Well, tomorrow is Sunday, so it'll be Tuesday because Monday I won't have a chance to do it. And I know I'm not going to want to do that once I arrive back home from fishing. Okay, you guys, so this ended up being 23 minutes, so longer than what I thought to begin with. But at least it's under 30 because the other one, I think I was at like 45 minutes rambling, okay? So, the white birch. Glad I remember that. So here comes another 5 minutes, y'all. Here it is. He had like the little sticks because he said women come in there and buy it for their birds. If they have a pet bird, they like for their bird to perch on the white birch. So they cut it down and put it in the cage. And so he said, I was the first one who ever talked about the medicinal things. And I was like, well, what variety of white birch is it? He was like, I don't know. He was like, I just have a whole bunch of white birch trees. He said, and he said neighbors and stuff started asking if they could have the branches and whatnot. And so he's like, I decided to make a business. And he's like, as a test plot, I brought some to the farmer's market. He's like, and they sell out he said they sell like wildfire. People buy them for decorations, birds, all that. So he said, I've been selling them now for a couple of years. So he had these little skinny ones that he was selling alone, and he wanted $6. And I was like, if you charge $6 for a branch, I want a bigger one. I say, because this is probably, I told him why I was buying it, and I was like, it'll probably last me forever. And so he opened up one of the bundles, because he had some bundles there, because some people buy them in the bundles. He was like, I was going to open this bundle anyway. He's like, because it's a lot of mixed varieties in this bundle. Some of them weren't even white. He just had, you know, regular birch in there. It was darker wood and all that. So I don't know what all he, you know, was in there, but I knew I was picking the white birch. He pointed it out. He was like, this is white birch. I was like, I figured because it's white. But anyway, I got this size. There were some a lot bigger than this, and some were curved and stuff. So I thought this one looked good. Plus, you see the bark peeling, and that's the one thing when you do, because you go into the bark to get the medicinal properties out of it, because you're you know, going to getting the inside. I forget what it's called, but just look at a white birch video and it'll tell you. And so with it already peeling like this, that's good, because it keeps me from disturbing it more than what it needs to be disturbed. I can just pull the peeling off and then get to where I need to get, you know, by scraping it, not lightly. So anyway, I've got it. I am going to taste it. I might make some white birch tea, because they said it's very sweet. They said the white birch is very sweet. And they say it makes a good tea. They said it's been used in different candies. It's used in peppermint, I believe, to help flavor that. And a few other candies and stuff. Just look at the white birch video and you'll see what I'm talking about, because I don't remember. Yep. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to get off of here. You've seen the white birch. I'm happy to have gotten it. And like I said, I paid $6 for it. So I'm thankful to have this and to have learned a little bit about the white birch. Now, maybe I can look at a film and find out if anyone looks just like mine, and I'll know what variety it is, or what, you know, what it is, or what flavor it is, so to speak. But all of them have the same properties. It's just that you have different types of white birch, but they all serve the same purpose. And some are found in other areas. I'll find out which ones, you know, the most popular one for our region. And I think that will give me the answer that I'm looking for as far as what type of white birch tree this is from, and what I can use it for, or whatever. So I'm happy to have that. Okay, so I'm off of here, you guys. I'm almost done with the greens. This is all I have left, thank goodness. And the pot here is full, but I'm not cooking a full pot. Like I said, I should be able to get 2 bags out of this. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later, and may God bless you all. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.